Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rosie, and if you are new here, please do subscribe using that big red button down below. So today I'm going to be testing out the Tamron 11-20 F2.8 lens for my Sony A6600 camera. I've used this once. I received it a couple of days ago in the post. I've used it once to record a yoga video. So I'm going to pop some of that footage on the screen now so you can see kind of how wide it is. Usually in that room I can't show my whole body and the camera was actually pretty close to me. So that's my only experience so far. We're now out for a walk in the beautiful English countryside and I want to take some photographs and just see exactly what this can do. The lens that I usually use is the Tamron 17-70. So I'm used to having a 17mm lens. So I'm excited to see what 11mm can do, especially in the countryside with some views, and just want to take some photographs and do some videos. So let's get going and I'll show you some photographs along the way. Hi there, so I'm back at my house, at my parents' house actually, and I vlogged a little bit whilst we were out there, so I'm kind of talking about the scenery and the sheep and the bluebells, and I was showing you what I was taking photographs of, and none of the audio worked. I think it's because I'm using a microphone that's kind of on its last legs, so I need to buy myself a new microphone. Anyway, all of this to say is that I did vlog whilst I was kind of taking photographs and talking about my experience, but I obviously can't use that footage because the audio didn't work. So what I'm going to do instead is talk to you about some of the photographs that I've taken, talk to you about the videos that I've taken, and also compare kind of different focal ranges. So if we start off with the photographs, I have my computer just down here, but I'm going to pop them on screen probably next to me either side. So what I was doing in terms of the photography was to take a photograph at 20 and then one at 11. So you can see the comparisons between kind of the focal range and what that actually means. So we started off by a river. I'm going to put one photo either side, and I'll obviously put underneath which kind of focal range it is. But I started off by the river and I took a photograph standing on a bridge overlooking the river and the water and the trees. So one of these is at 20 and one of them is 11, and you can see here the difference in terms of how much you get, how much extra you get in frame. I was then stood next to Jeremy and asked him just to stay still, and again took a photograph at 20, another one at 11. And again, I think this one shows it because I didn't step back, he didn't step back, like we're at the exact same distance, took these two photographs, and I think you can see the difference in terms of how much extra you see in terms of Jeremy being further away. I will say that the floor and things and kind of the wall next to me gets a little bit dizzying in terms of, because it's kind of stretched out, and maybe the leaves on the top corner as well. But I will say that with the 20, I was really impressed with the compression. So the whole time I was shooting on aperture priority mode, F2.8, so the camera kind of did the automatic side of it. And I'm really impressed with the 20, how much bokeh there is behind Jeremy's head with the trees. I then took these photographs of the water. Again, you can't really see the branches on the top of the 20, but then on the 11, you can see the branches along the top and more pebbles along the bottom as well. So I think that worked really, really well. I took this photograph of these bluebells, and I did this to kind of show how close I was. So I was crouched down on the floor. I think I got a video, but again, I can't really use it. But I was crouched down on the floor, holding like with my hand out like this, photographed the flower on 20 and then moved it to 11 and then photographed again. So again, you can see a huge difference with the focal range and what that means for kind of when you're traveling, things like that. You can, get a really wide range of photographs. Okay, moving on to the next one is this grass photograph. So I made a bit of a mistake in that one of these, I can't remember which one of them is not quite in focus. I think it was the 20, I think I missed the focus on it. But again, I think it's just good to show kind of what grass looks like, something quite close, and then later on I photographed some buildings, so you can see the difference with that as well. There's these yellow flowers. Again, I stood in the same place, took a photograph at 20, zoomed out to 11, took a photograph, and then that's the kind of result of those. Again here, overlooking the river, so I got a video here talking about the view I was taking a photograph of. Obviously that audio went missing, well, the audio didn't work. So I've got the 20 and the 11, and again with the 11 you can see a lot more of you can actually see each side of the river, whereas on the 20 you can only see the far side of the river. So you can see a lot more. There's these photographs of Jeremy on the bridge, so again at 20 and at 11. At 11 you can see a lot more, like closer to you, so there's a lot more in frame. Again, this one of Jeremy on the bridge, I was in the exact same place, and I was trying to figure out, you know, what would happen if you have some leaves in the foreground and how that would affect the photograph. And then just some photographs on some fields. Again, I'll just leave it on screen for a little second for you to kind of compare. A photograph of a sheep. Again, I'll leave it on screen so you can compare. So the sheep was not too far away, so it was quite good having the 20, so I could actually get a decent photograph of it. And then had there been lots of sheep, you know, having the 11 range as well, being able to photograph lots of sheep together, I think would have been quite good. I photographed some bluebells, again trying to focus in on the bluebells and get that nice bokeh effect when I'm at the 20 range, and then at the 11 range kind of seeing the whole sea of bluebells and the trees behind, and you kind of see a lot more of the scenery. So it's not, you know, it's not that 20 is the best focal range or 11 is the best focal range, but I think using both within your photography is brilliant because you kind of have, you know, you can be quite close and get the nice bokeh and the depth of field, things like that. And then you can also get wide shots. So that's just with the bluebells. There's another one here with bluebells. I'll leave it on screen for a couple of seconds. Obviously feel free to pause the video if you want to have a look closely at these photographs. But again, you can just see the difference in terms of how much of the flower you can actually see in the photograph. This one was Jeremy standing against the wall. I just asked him to stand still. So again, just kind of, I think the sky was really blown out in this one. I think it struggled because I was focusing on Jeremy, who was kind of in the shade, and then the sky was really sunny. But again, just showing you the focal ranges. This one, it was quite interesting, is me holding Jeremy's hands. You often see this on Instagram, on people like on beaches. It's usually the woman who's like with the hair, you know, windswept hair and holding on the hand. But I decided to try it with Jeremy. So the first one was shot at 20, and then the second one was shot at 11. So again, you can see how much more you get in the shot there, not even just of my arm, but also of his legs, of the background, the scenery behind him, the trees above him. You just see a lot more. So I think that's going to be amazing for travel photography. Now this next photograph, I've got 3. So I took the first one at 20, the second one at 17, and the third one at 11. And the reason I took this third one at 17 is because that's what my lens, so I'm used to using the Tamron 17-70. So 17 is the widest I've been able to photograph before. So it's interesting to see 20, 17, and then 11. And the 11, I was like, wow, okay, that's cool, because I love photographing architecture, and oftentimes I'm trying to photograph a building and I can't quite get far enough back and I can't quite fit in the whole building, and it annoys me because I do love photographing architecture. So I'm really happy with that. I think that's going to be brilliant for traveling. So I kind of wanted to include all 3 in there so I can compare, even for myself, the 17 compared to the 11 and how much more you can see. And then again, I did the 20, 17 and 11, this time with a, what's it called? I can't remember the name of what this is called. where you have your own plot of land. No, can't remember the word. Anyway, whatever that's called. So again, I've got it at 20, at 17, and then at 11. So I can really compare that between the 17 and the 11 is a huge difference. And I'm actually going to be able to see so much more. So for traveling, for landscape photography, for architecture photography, like I said, it's going to be amazing. 2 more photographs to show you. So wisteria, there was somebody's house with a wisteria. I had to go and photograph it. It looked beautiful. So again, at 20 versus at 11, I prefer the 20 because you get the nice bokeh behind and you can kind of focus in on a flower, and you can get quite close with this lens. And then I also did the same, so again at 20 and then at 11. So that's the kind of photographs that I took using this lens. I will say quickly that I really enjoyed using it, and I think for traveling it's going to be really good. I remember when I did the unboxing of this video, or maybe one of my recent videos, I said that my 17-70 is like my ride or die, absolutely love it. Like if I could only ever have one lens, it would be that one. I still stand by that, but I do think this is probably the perfect travel lens because you can get nice depth of field and nice bokeh and nice compression and photographs at 20. You could get nice portraits at 20, but then you can also take photographs of churches and buildings and landscapes with the 11. So I do think it's a good competitor for the 17-70. Now, obviously, if you can afford both, and even the third one, the 70-180, that would be the ideal situation. That's kind of what I've gone for. But I just wanted to show you those photographs, and I took a couple of videos as well I'm going to quickly talk to you about. So there's this one of Jeremy walking. So I was just walking as well. So the camera is not on any sort of tripod or stabilizer. So it's quite bouncy and quite jittery. I couldn't imagine myself vlogging with this. even though the lens size is pretty good. The next one, we were just walking down this path, so I kind of thought I would see what it was like in terms of vlogging again. I don't think I'm going to use it for vlogging, it's just too shaky for my cup of tea. This was a bluebell, so this is at 20mm. You can see the nice blur in the background, the bokeh, the beautiful colours. It's a little bit shaky as I move out to 11, and then that's at 11, so you can see there's less bokeh. Oh, it's struggling a little bit there to find the focus. I didn't notice at the time. So that's that one. Next one was this leaf. So again, starting at 20. Oh, lost focus a bit there. I did find out when I was filming, I had to half press down the shutter to be able to stay focused on something, otherwise it would lose focus. I don't think I've had to do that before with my other lenses, so I don't know if that's a lens thing or just a user error. The next one I have is just this flower. So all of this was filmed on f2.8 with the kind of automatic, you know, things that the camera does. And then that there is at 11mm, so you can kind of see there the difference in terms of what's in focus. If we move on to this one, this was the water, like a river flowing. So that's starting at 20, and then we do zoom out in a second, there we go, to 11. So again, you can just see how much more you can get in frame with this lens. I saw this ladybird, I was trying to get a video. I didn't bother doing the wide angle, but I think it's quite nice how I couldn't quite get the right angle of the ladybird, but I love the kind of bouquet of the flowers around it. There was this bug, don't know what it is. I think I could have bumped up to maybe f4.5, something like that. 2.8 is a little bit shallow, but I did enjoy the bouquet, and then that zoomed out. Again, I stayed in the same place, and you can just see so much more of the picture there. This was where I was photographing, well, videoing the river. I kind of took a photograph of this as well, I just showed you. So that's zooming out to 11. I will say the zoom isn't super steady. Like you wouldn't be able to vlog and zoom in and out. Kind of with the iPhone, you can zoom quite smoothly. With this, I wouldn't say you can. This was just us walking. I think this was at 11. I just wanted to see kind of what it was like for vlogging. Again, not something I'm going to be using for vlogging, honestly. I don't think it worked very well, in my opinion. I've got 5 more videos, I'm going to quickly run through them. This was just some flowers. It's interesting, it's completely blown out, but I guess it's because it's quite a dark background. And then zoomed out, and that's at 11, so that's in the same place, and you can just compare like how much you can see in each frame. This was a sheep that we came across. He stopped eating when he saw me kind of crouch down and video him. So that's at 20. And then that's at 11. So you can kind of see so much more of the trees around the sheep and a lot more of the grass, things like that. Next one is this bluebells. It was kind of a longer path, so I got quite close, and this was at 20. I think that's beautiful with the bouquet, and the trees in the background are all blurry. And then zoomed out, that's at 11. So obviously you can see more of the path, you can see more of the flowers and the things at the side as well. You still do have bokeh in the background. The f2.8 works really, really beautifully. This was a little sheep that I found. We were walking along a path, like along a wall, and the sheep was there. So I filmed him, that's at 20, and then it's going to start moving. And what I do is as he walks away, I think it's here, I start to try and zoom out. And as you can see, the zooming out is not very steady. So that's now at 11mm. And this is the very last video of the wisteria, so that's at 20. Again, if you look at the bokeh behind, I think it's beautiful. And then that is at 11mm. Still lots of bokeh, still lots of blur, but you just get more in the angle. So that is the photographs and the videos that I have taken today on my walk. Overall first impressions of this lens is it's way better than I thought it was going to be. I was kind of nervous to spend £480, I think it was, on this lens. I kind of thought, oh my gosh, it's so much money and I don't know if I'm going to use it. I don't know if it's going to be too wide or not wide enough, and is it worth, you know, paying that much for a little bit extra in a photograph. Having used it, I think it's a really great lens. So I love the 20 that you get in the nice bokeh, and you can actually get some gorgeous kind of portraits and things like that. I think it would be really great. But for me, the key selling point is the wide angle. So the fact that I can photograph the building that I wouldn't have been able to photograph beforehand, like I said, usually I have my 17-70. So the fact that I can use this lens for 11mm and get that whole building in focus is, you know, in frame, is going to be amazing. Whilst I've been traveling, most of my kind of wide angle shots I wanted to take, I've used my phone, which is fine, it's good enough quality, but it's not quite the same. You can't get that kind of 2.8 aperture. I don't know, I just prefer obviously camera photographs to iPhone photographs. I think the iPhone is doing a brilliant job at doing its job. Like it's, you know, they are really good photographs. It's just not quite the same as a camera. In terms of the size, it's a great size. It's a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like I said in the unboxing, I think it's probably like this much bigger than I thought it was going to be. I'm filming with it right now, by the way, as well. So this is at 11. So the lens is literally like the camera's reaching distance. And then that's at 20. So that kind of shows you the difference in terms of filming capabilities. So yeah, I think it's been brilliant. I think it's performed really, really well. It's interesting. Would I say, I'm just thinking to myself, would I use this over my 17-70? Probably not. I think if I could have one lens in my kit, I think it would be the Tamron 17-70 and then just use my iPhone for wide angle shots. But with this lens, it means I can photograph architecture and landscapes, but it also means that I can film yoga classes and YouTube videos in small locations. So I've been struggling to kind of film yoga classes where I'm standing and stretching because I couldn't get my camera far enough back to be able to film like my classes, if that makes sense. And I also think sometimes when we've been traveling and doing like a sit down YouTube video, we have to have the camera like the other side of the room, and sometimes the room isn't that big, so it's quite cropped in. Whereas with this, we can literally sit here, like there's definitely space for Jeremy there. So for us to sit together and be able to film a video with it just in reaching distance away. So overall, I think the lens is brilliant. I'm so glad I paid the extra money for it rather than going for a cheaper route, like a different lens. I do think this is going to be great. I think I'm going to use it a lot, probably more than I expect. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed looking at these photographs and the videos that I took today. If you have any questions in terms of the size, the price, the use, I'm obviously going to leave an Amazon link down below to this lens, so if you want to go ahead and shop it, I'll leave it down there, so it's just easy for you to find. But if you do have any questions, please do let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know if you have this lens or if you're thinking about getting it. And please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. I'm hopefully going to be doing some more photography videos. I love photography, it's my #1 passion. Probably shouldn't say that, I've just launched a I've just launched a yoga and meditation like other YouTube channel, but I do love photography. I'm really, really passionate about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.